Hey guys, Pete here. The 8th episode of Mr. Robot Season 2 has come and gone, and there's a lot to talk about. This will be my Mr. Robot Season 2 Episode 8 recap and review, and will contain spoilers for everything that's happened in the show up to this point. Episode 8 starts with a flashback to when Mobley and Trenton first met. They are both at the same coffee shop thinking they're waiting to meet Elliot, and Mobley sheepishly tries to make small talk with her. At first I thought they were at that coffee shop where Elliot took down the owner in Season 1, but as they talk, it's revealed that there's another one that has really fast internet, which would be the one that he was at. She tricks him into visiting a benchmarking site she gives him the address for, and she gets control of his phone just as Darlene shows up. Darlene sits down and points out what Trenton did, and then tells them that Elliot couldn't make it. She tells him he wrote something in which she reads, "It says, what I'm about to tell you is top secret. Conspiracy bigger than all of us. There is a powerful group of people out there that are secretly running the world. I'm talking about the guys no one knows about, the guys that are invisible. The top 1% of the 1%. It fades out to the title credits, and then we see Darlene in present time back at Madam Executioner's. Mobley is at a laptop with Trenton and Cisco looking over his shoulder. Darlene wants to know what's going on, and she learns that they found out there's going to be a conference call about Operation Berenstain the next day. They get on the call and record the whole thing, but the only thing we really learn is that it's on the 4th of July. They decide to make a video to expose the call, and while they're taping the first time, the tape gets messed up, and Darlene exposes her face to the camera. They finish up, and Trenton uploads the video that is meant to expose the FBI and put them on notice. Mobley's listening to the call again, so we learn that they were looking at 16 suspects originally, but now there's only 15 because we can assume that one of them, being Romero, is actually dead. He tries to leave, but Cisco stops him, and they go back and forth about the Dark Army. Before they can finish the conversation, Madam Executioner walks up the steps and catches them all by surprise. We find Angela in a karaoke bar with the guy who I thought was the one night stand from earlier in the season. She was at a bar with the lawyer and she went home with him. We learn that they're actually dating, and she's watching the F Society video, which prompts him to say, like, why is it more interesting than the date? She seems drunk and generally down, which I guess might be related to the talk she had with Dom. She never answers the guy about the video and instead excuses herself to go get another drink. On the way, a friend of her dad stops her for a conversation that turns into a heated exchange. He talks shit about her working for the company that killed her mother, and she responds by destroying him for being a lifelong plumber. She basically says that that's the best she could come up with, and mentions that she's 27 with a 6-figure salary and that she's just getting started. We find F Society zip-tying Susan Jacobs to a railing in her pool room. They head downstairs to try to figure out what they're gonna do. She keeps screaming, so Darlene sends Trenton to go shut her up. Susan tells her that she needs to use the bathroom and convinces her to cut her loose. Of course, she struggles to get away, but then ends up smashing her head into the wall and knocking herself out when she tries to charge Trenton. She goes back to the others, and Darlene says they need to tie her back up until they can own her so that they know that she won't talk. We hear Angela singing "Everyone Wants to Rule the World" in the background as they try to find something in Susan's phone and laptop. They don't find much in the accounts attached to her phone, but we do see that she has a pacemaker due to several emails from doctors. They find out she has a Yahoo email account that isn't hooked up to the phone, and while they're looking and talking about strategies to get in, Trenton comes back from her office with a post-it note containing the info. We get a shot of Darlene, who's deep in thought, and hear Cisco say, "Even if we do find something, what then?" Angela finishes up her Tears for Fears cover and heads to the bar. There's a businessman type there who tells her that he loves that song. He asks her if she really has desire to rule the world, and she replies with, "My desires go way beyond that." He moves in to pay, tries to excuse himself, but we get the idea that she talks him into staying. We get our first glimpse of Dom, who is interviewing the financial guy Darlene was sleeping with, aka the guy she took the gun that ended up in the popcorn machine from. She explains that she found the casing that leads right back to his gun, and emphasizes that he had it illegally in the city. She has him in a tough spot, so she offers immunity for a name. We don't get to find out what he does, as the scene ends with him thinking. Darlene comes back into the pool room carrying a taser. She cuts Susan loose, gives her a cigarette, and agrees that her wound looks pretty bad. As they're smoking, Darlene lets her know that they found some good stuff on her that they can use to blackmail her. But then she also says that she knows that she would probably just slime her way out of it. She lets her know about her dad and that she remembers seeing her on the TV when she was just 4 years old. They talk a little more, and then Darlene zaps her with the stun gun in the heart, which knocks knocks her into the pool unconscious. Darlene isn't unaffected by it, but it's clear that she intends to let her drown. It also seems like it was her plan from the time she entered the room. When she tells everyone else, she makes it out like Madam Executioner freaked out and that she was just trying to stop her. Mobley points out that she had a heart condition and can't believe that Darlene didn't see those emails. She tells Mobley and Trenton that they can leave and that her and Cisco will wipe things down and figure out what to do. The two of them take off. Darlene and Cisco set up an auto reply for her email, and then the scene ends. Mobley and Trenton are sitting on the train platform talking about what to do. Trenton says it must have been self-defense, but Mobley doesn't look sure. She asks him what the plan is, and he says, well, we can't stay here. He points out that they don't know who will be waiting for them at home, the Dark Army, the FBI, or the cops. Darlene and Cisco are talking about their options, and she says they need to take care of it because she doesn't trust Cisco's guys. She's also worried that the other people who went to DC for the bailout vote, the other F Society people, are going to return, so they can't just leave the body. She says they need to do what they always do when they go in full wipe down mode after doing a hack. They end up loading the body into a giant duffel bag and head to see the guy at the pound who has access to the incinerator. The guy says he needs double because of the fact that they let all the dogs go the last time and he almost got fired, so Darlene offers to pay him an e-coin. We find out that she stole it from Susan, and after a struggle they load her body into the furnace. They take the train, and Darlene says she didn't think she was capable of doing that. She admits, though, that she isn't feeling bad because she always knew she wanted to get back at Susan for what happened to her dad. Cisco tries to comfort her by telling her she's probably just in shock. We find Mobley outside of his apartment looking totally sketched out. He paid a delivery guy to go check his apartment for him before he decides to go in. We see Trenton at home with her father, who she asks if he ever thought moving out of the city. As he's telling her they can't do that, she hears a sound outside. She goes outside to check and sees a suspicious looking car creeping down her street. Mobley enters his place to pack, and we hear someone knocking on the door almost right away. As he looks out the window, he sees a bunch of SUVs, and we hear them saying to open up, it's the FBI. Dom comes in to interview him and lays out some of what they know about Romero. Mobley never says anything and just listens while she tells him he could be a big help in solving the case. She tells him how she went to visit Romero's mother after the murder and shows him the flyer from the End of the World party that she found. She breaks down how she used it to find a fan page he made way back in 2003 for this DJ, and that he was actually the only person who ever created anything related to the guy. This led her to believe that this was how he came up with his hacker handle, but she tells him that she doesn't really care because what she really wants is Tyrell Wellick. He listens to her spiel and then asks for a lawyer. Dom's talking to her boss, who reminds her that they are trying to work from the top down. She says he can be useful, and he reminds her about the shitstorm they are facing because of the conference call leak. He tells her whatever paranoia she is putting him in is done from just picking him up, and that she needs to cut him loose because they don't have anything on him. Mobley gets out and sends Trenton a self-destructing text telling her that they are burned. He tells her to meet him in the same place they met for the first time, and then wipes the phone and drops it in a bike messenger's basket. She gets the message and packs her stuff, and we see him duck into a train station. Back at the FBI, Dom is looking at the video file, and we see the guy Angela was dating is actually working with the FBI. He is telling her that Angela ditched him for the old guy at the bar, and he seems broken up about the way that it happened. No way to tell if she figured out something was off about him or if she was just drunk and decided to be done with it. They talk some more about how the video is blowing up in their face before the scene cuts away. We find Darlene back at Cisco's place sleeping. When she wakes up, he's already in the shower, and she notices his laptop is out with the screen still lit up like he was just using it. We see Trenton at the coffee shop and learn that Mobley is over 2 hours late. The scene jumps back and forth, and we see Darlene has gotten into Cisco's laptop. She sees a picture of herself sleeping, and we get some subtitles of the Chinese. He tells them that he has Darlene, and they say good job with the femtocell, that the back door is in play. They also say stage 2 is ready to begin, and I don't really know if Darlene can read this stuff or not. Obviously Cisco speaks Chinese in some scenes, but not sure why he knows how to, or if that means Darlene does as well. We get one more shot of Trenton staring towards the door and hear it open, and then it cuts back to Darlene, who is now leaning against the wall. Cisco comes out of the bathroom. He sees that she's destroyed his laptop, and the episode ends with her getting ready to smash him with a baseball bat. So it's a pretty good episode as far as things moving along with the story. Kind of strange at the same time since we didn't have any Elliot sightings at all. Not a lot of mystery happening since the FBI is closing in, and Susan Jacobs coming back in made for like a situation that they had to deal with head on. An important thing we learned is that they're still focused focused on Tyrell, but Mobley and the gun owner getting pulled in is going to lead to some problems. Also, we know that they were paying attention to Angela from well before the scene where Dawn came up to confront her at her cubicle. So no Elliot, no Price, no Joanna, no Ray, and no direct White Rose, although those conversations might have been with him on the computer. Dom seems to be feeling the pressure, and the video took things up a notch. I feel like there was some foreshadowing with that VHS tape messing up. I mean, we didn't see them wipe Madam Executioner's place down, but I assume they did that before they went to the pound. The tape just stood out as a possible loose end. Eventually someone will realize that Susan has disappeared, but they probably should have a little bit of time. So let me know what you think in the comments. I liked the episode, but it seemed like it flew by, and I realized after it was over that since we didn't see so many characters, that it built up a lot of anticipation for next week. What do you think is going to happen when Elliot gets out to find out what just all went down? Like, do you think they'll even tell him about Susan, or I don't even know. What does the Dark Army mean when they say stage 2? Like, I know we had a little bit of a talk with, White Rose in the past on that, but it wasn't really clear if I remember. And what the hell is Darlene going to do with Cisco now that she beat him down with the bat? It's a lot. I don't know. Please like the video if you found it interesting, and please subscribe to my channel. I try to put out a recap and review as soon as I can right after the episode airs. Thanks for watching. I will talk to you soon.